Hello, folks. Today we are going to practice downloading and installing NVDA, the free screen reader for Microsoft Windows. And we're going to do that by using Windows Narrator to get us there. So 100% of this workflow is going to be done using our keyboard only. The reason that we'll do this is because NVDA is a really great testing tool for your web content or your learning content, and Windows Narrator, although it's already built in and free, isn't as widely used. So it's not a great indicator of what your users might experience if they are going to be navigating your site or your learning content with a screen reader. So we want you to practice installing NVDA, but to do that, using screen reader only commands such as Windows Narrator. And we'll just start with the beginning of the process, which is to launch Windows Narrator. And in Windows, you can do that by holding the Control and Alt keys and holding the Control and Windows keys and pressing the Enter button on your keyboard. That's the hotkey to launch Windows Narrator. So Control, Windows, Enter.
Mouse mode on. Scan. Heading level 1. Narrator window. Welcome to Narrator. This is Narrator Home, where you can get help, access your settings, and learn about new features.
So the first thing that happens is Windows Narrator pops up and starts reading the welcome screen. I press the Control button to silence its speech because I don't necessarily need to read every single thing that it wants to tell you. You're welcome to read through that on your own if you wish, but it's not really relevant here, so we'll just go ahead and carry on. Once we have Narrator open, what we want to do is access our web browser. I use Microsoft Edge, but you can use Chrome or Firefox, whatever works best for you. And I have a Microsoft Edge pinned to my Windows taskbar. So what I'm going to do is hold the Windows key and press the T key. So Windows T.
Scan off. Open. Outlook. New. Pin.
Oops, not Windows R,
Drag
Windows
Outlook.
T.
Classic. Zoom Workplace. 2 running Narrator. 1 running Zoom Workplace. Outlook. Classic.
And now I'm pressing the left and right
Draggable.
arrow keys to find the Microsoft Edge icon in my taskbar.
Outlook. New. Microsoft Edge. 1 running window pinned.
There it is.
Button.
So I'm going to press Enter to open Microsoft Edge.
Jacob Wood. Inclusive Design and Strategic Leadership. Jacob Wood.
And it's just going to come up with a home page that I have, so I don't necessarily need to read through all of that. My goal is to get to www.nvaccess.org. That's NV for non-visual. To get to the address bar, we'll use the hotkey Control-L, or you can use Alt-D, and either one of those will enter you into the address bar. I'm going to press Control-L.
Address and search bar. Edit. HTTP. Expanded.
And I'm going to type www.nvaccess.org
selected.
And I've been here before, so it automatically fills that in, but you can type nvaccess.org.
Loading page.
Enter.
Loading complete. NV Access. NVDA, the free software empowering blind people worldwide. YouTube has finished loading.
So you heard that the page started loading. I don't necessarily, again, need to read everything on this page, so I press the Control key to silence that speech. And I'll press Tab to get through the menus, and I'm looking for the download link in the top menu.
Heading Level 1, Link, NV Access Empowering Lives Through Non-Visual Access to Technology. Value 8, Link, Donate. Link, Home. Link, Download.
Okay,
Value
found the download
HTTP.
link. So I'm going to press Enter to activate this link and navigate to that page.
Loading page. NV Access Download NVDA. Loading complete. NV Access Download NVDA has finished loading. 0.
Okay, and I was told that the page finished loading. So the first thing that I'm going to do once I load a new page is start looking through the headers on the page to try to find the main content area, because I no longer need to navigate through all of those menus. So I'm not going to tab through. I'm going to press the H key on my keyboard to navigate by header.
NV Access Empowering Lives Through Non-Visual Access to Technology, heading Level 1.
So that heading level 1 was part of their kind of logo. I'm going to press H again to see if I can get to the main content area.
Download and experience NVDA today, heading Level 2.
And we heard what appears to be the title of the page, which was to download NVDA. From here, I can use the down arrow on my keyboard to read through the content, and what I'm looking for is a download link or a download button.
And experience. Heading Level 2, NVDA version 2025.3. The NVDA screen reader can be downloaded free of charge by anyone. We do this, please note, NV.
Now, I'm not going to necessarily read through all of the content. What I'm going to do is search for the download button. And I happen to know that on this page, if I continue to look for links, I'll show you what we do. We press the K key to navigate by link.
Link, NVDA 2023.3 for Windows 7, value 8.
Well, I know I'm not running Windows 7, so I'm going to keep looking past this link.
Link, NVDA 2017.3 for Windows XP, value https://
Not running that version of Windows. I'm running Windows 11, so I'll keep looking.
Link, sale. Cover image for product, which is.
Now, what happened here? We went to a sales link. If the page doesn't have a link that you're looking for, there's a good possibility that what you actually want is a button. So I'm going to press the Shift key and the B key for button. And Shift is a modifier that moves you back up the page instead of continuing down the page. Shift and B.
Download, button.
Aha! And we landed on the download button. So I'm going to go ahead and download NVDA. And they are a free resource, so anybody can download this at no charge. But if you want to donate, there are options on this page or on their main menu to actually donate to this project. I'm going to hit the Enter key to start the download.
Loading page. Loading complete. Downloading, NVDA_2025.3.exe, 48.7 megabytes. Downloads has finished loading.
So how do you get to your downloads once you have actually clicked that button? The way to do that in Microsoft
Downloads
Edge
completed.
or in Google Chrome is to hold Control and press the J key to go to your downloads bar. So I'm going to press Control and J.
Downloads. 0% vertically scrolled.
Now, once I'm on the downloads bar, I will tab through to find the document or the file that downloaded.
Downloads, button. Open Downloads folder, button.
And
Downloads
we're going to
toolbar.
press the Open Downloads folder button. I'm going to press Enter to activate that.
Download, but scan off. NVDA_2025.3.exe, non-selected, off, today group.
Now it said that there was the exe file. I'm going to press my down arrow to select it.
NVDA_2025.3.exe, 1 of 1, selected, on.
And once I press the Enter key, we will launch the installation file.
Window NVDA text. Please wait while setup is loading. NVDA View license, button, Alt+V, NVDA launcher dialog.
Now, what you might have heard there is two different screen readers talking at the same time. That's because I do have NVDA installed already, and it started reading using the installation built-in screen reader. So at this point, I can actually turn off Windows Narrator and use NVDA to install NVDA. It's kind of a neat trick. So to get rid of Windows Narrator, I'm going to hold Control and Windows again and press the Enter key.
Exiting Narrator.
And now I'm going to tab through the NVDA installation menu. Now, that's probably reading really quickly. That's because my NVDA settings are actually pretty high. I'm not sure if I can reduce that speed right now, but let me try.
Rate 95. Rate 90. Rate 80. Rate 30. Rate 30. Rate 20. Rate 20.
So I just used a NVDA hotkey, Control, NVDA, and down arrow to reduce that speed so it can be a little bit easier to understand here. And I heard that I need to accept a license agreement, so I'm going to press the space bar to check that box.
Space. Checked.
And then I'm going to press Tab to continue.
Install NVDA on this computer button Alt+I.
Now, when you're installing NVDA, you have a couple of options. You can install on the computer. This does require administrator access. So if you're part of an organization where you don't have full access to your computer, you may not be able to install it this way. But there's another option that you have, and I'm going to press Tab.
Create portable copy button Alt+P.
Now you can create a portable copy. This allows you to install it to a USB drive or to a folder on your desktop, and you would just launch NVDA from this portable copy instead of launching it, say, at startup. This does not require administrator rights, so I'm going to demonstrate installing it using this option. I'm going to press Enter to activate that option.
Create portable NVDA dialog to create a portable copy of NVDA. Please select the path and other options and then press Continue. Portable directory : grouping, edit blank.
So now I need to choose the directory where I want to install this program. I'm going to press Tab
Browse button.
and browse my computer for a folder to put it in.
Select portable directory dialog, folder : edit blank.
Now, what's happened is the Windows Explorer has popped up, and I need to press the Shift and Tab keys to get to my file structure so I can actually choose a place to install this. I'm going to hold Shift and Tab.
Items view list, header list, name split button collapsed. Init pub not selected. Tree view, level 2 Windows left C : right collapsed 1 of 1.
And this is what I was looking for. When it says tree view, that's the left side of the file explorer where I can actually navigate to any of the folders that I have. I'm just going to go to Downloads.
Financial freedom left documents left OneDrive right desktop left curriculum left OneDrive right level 1 home 1.
Now you get to see my messy documents structure.
D level 2 desktop left D documents left D level 1 start of quick access dash desktop left D downloads left
I'm going to select Downloads and press Tab.
Items view list. No items match your search.
Now what can I do? I need to install this in a folder, and I have it just to go into my Downloads folder here, so I'm going to continue pressing Tab until I get to the Select Folder button.
Header list, date modified split but folder : edit selected downloads, select folder button. Create portable NVDA dialog to create a
And if you don't want it to go and install everything into your Downloads folder directly, there's a checkbox here.
Create a new folder for the portable copy checkbox checked Alt+N.
That creates a new folder within your Downloads folder or whichever place you chose to install it. I'm going to check this box.
Space, not checked. Space, checked.
It was already checked. And I'm going to press the Tab key again.
Start the new portable copy after creation checkbox not checked Alt+S.
And I'm going to go ahead and check this box to start the portable copy after installation. So I'm going to press Spacebar.
Space, checked.
And I'll press Tab again.
Continue button Alt+C.
And press Continue.
Creating portable copy dialog. Success dialog successfully created a portable copy of NVDA at C:\users\Jacob\Downloads\NVDA. OK button.
Told me that it successfully created that copy. I'm going to press OK, and it should launch NVDA.
Welcome to NVDA dialog. Welcome to NVDA. Most commands for controlling NVDA require you to hold down the NVDA key while pressing other keys. By default, the Insert and Numpad Insert keys may both be used as the NVDA key. You can also configure NVDA to use the caps lock as the NVDA key. Press NVDA+N at any time to activate the NVDA menu. From this menu, you can configure NVDA, get help, and access other NVDA functions. Options grouping.
Okay, so it just gave us some really important information here. It says that the insert key is by default your NVDA key. The NVDA key is the modifier key that you need to hold in order to activate most shortcuts while using this program. Now you can change that behavior so that you can also add the caps lock key, which is a little bit easier to reach if you are using NVDA in your keyboard with two hands. I personally will turn on the caps lock key.
Use caps lock as an NVDA modifier key checkbox not checked Alt+U.
So I'd press the Tab key to access this checkbox, and I will press Space in order to activate it.
Checked.
And I'll press Tab again.
Show this dialog when NVDA starts checkbox checked Alt+S.
Now, if you want this dialog to show up every time you load NVDA, as a reminder of how to access the menu keys, you can leave this checked. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off.
Not checked.
And I'll press Tab again.
OK button.
And select OK.
NVDA usage data collection dialog. In order to improve NVDA in the future, NV access.
This is just a standard, we're going to collect usage data on you permission box.
Yes button Alt+Y. No button Alt+N.
I'm going to go ahead and select no, but you can certainly change that if you'd like.
Downloads. File Explorer, Items View List. Today grouping expanded.
And it has brought us back to the downloads folder that I had been in before. So we now successfully have NVDA installed. The last thing that we'll do today is to open the Preferences menu so that you can change your settings with NVDA and kind of play around with it and configure them how you'd like. If you remember from that dialog box that had popped up, it told you that NVDA plus N is the key that you need to press to open your preferences. So I'm going to hold my caps lock key, which is my NVDA modifier key now, and press the N key.
NVDA menu.
That opened up my NVDA menu, and now I can use the up and down arrows to search through this menu.
Preferences submenu P.
Preferences is where we'll find our settings.
Tools submenu T.
Tools is for add-ons and other widgets that go on top of NVDA.
Help submenu H.
If you need help, you can always scroll down to this menu and go to Help.
Configuration profiles.
Configuration profiles are more of an advanced thing that allow you to load up different sets of settings depending on your needs.
Revert to saved configuration R.
You can go to your last saved configuration.
Reset configuration to factory defaults F.
You can completely reset your configuration.
Save configuration S.
Save your current configuration.
Donate D.
Donate, it's always a popular choice.
Exit X.
And exit.
Preferences submenu P.
So I'm going to go to Preferences. Well, what do I do now? I press the right arrow key because it told me that there is a sub-menu. So a sub-menu in this type of menu structure means that you can press the right arrow to open up a pop-out menu. It's kind of like hovering over it with your mouse.
Settings. S.
From there we have Settings.
Speech dictionaries, punctuation, input gest settings.
And you heard me just briefly go through the rest of those. We don't necessarily need to go over all of those right now, but I'm going to select Settings and press Enter.
NVDA settings, General, Normal configuration, Dialog, Categories, List Alt plus C, General 1 of 17.
So we just heard a lot of information there. I'm on the Settings screen now on the General tab. This is a menu where you can press up and down to select different categories.
Speech 2 of 17.
So I'm selecting Speech, and we'll press Tab to go into the Speech menu.
Speech property page, synthesizer grouping, edit read-only multi-line Windows 1 core voices.
And this is where we can change the voice, the speech rate, and any of the other settings related to our actual voice and the way that it reads out things to you. We're not going to explore all of the settings today, but I just wanted to show you how to get into the settings menu so that you can play around with it if you'd like. I'm going to press Escape to close out of the menu and
Downloads, File,
close my Downloads menu by holding the Alt key and pressing F4. Alt F4 is the way to close any window in Microsoft Windows.
NV Access Download NVDA.
And now I'm back to Microsoft Edge with the NVDA website open. We'll go ahead and leave it there for now. And if you want to join Dr. Nicole Latoile and I for our hands-on with NVDA workshop, we'll go over a lot more of these features with NVDA in detail and use it to test your learning courses or your content online. Have a great day.